introducing me. I want to start by thanking Nafisa. And I'm really happy I came when she was speaking. I wish you recorded this thing on a video so that it will remain in memory, what she said, and to be shared by those who are not in this room. It's truly, truly amazing. It's these great lessons. And now she said many things that I would have said, so which makes it difficult for me to say anything, Nafisa, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine what Nafisa would look like in 20 years from now if you keep track of her career. I actually would like to do that. I'll make a note to follow your career. Vincent, it's good to see you here. Yeah, Vincent is my friend for many years. We meet in other forums. So it's on. I can move. Okay, so thank you all for inviting me to come here to speak to you on this issue of grant writing. I don't know how you wish us to manage with time because we have about 15 minutes to 11 a.m. I can skip some of the things because truly Nafisa has already said a lot of what you would need to know in preparation to be successful in grant writing. What amazes me is that you guys are thinking of this at this point in time. Normally, here in this university, Vincent, usually we don't see students asking for this kind of training a lot. It is either staff or maybe the postgraduate students, they are more concerned about this. So I think there's something great you are going to do with yourselves. I really think so. Because if you learn all these things that Nafisa has said, if you start doing them now, what is to stop you? What really is to stop you? The world has a lot of opportunity, exactly for your kind of people. And a lot of that opportunity is actually not well utilized. That's the truth. I think, Nafisa, you can tell them there are many opportunities to apply for these things. Either to go for training, get funding, get resources. You'll be amazed at how many people are willing to support young people. If only you can come forward and show that you're well prepared. There are many people, I know, because I meet with them, many people who have opportunities. Sometimes they are close to you, others a little bit far, but there is a connection. There is a way to get these resources. The problem is, quite often, we are unprepared. I think one of the greatest lessons from Nafisa is being prepared, readiness. The best example she has given is starting in 2022 for an opportunity which is in 2023. Be ready. Be ready. Even chance favors those who are prepared. I think that's an English saying, it's not a proverb. It's simple common sense. Even chance, just a chance comes up like this. Because if somebody says, submit a proposal tomorrow or in the next 2 days, I can assure you Nafisa has a proposal. She has. You guys will start looking for a committee. You know, she was saying a team and consulting like that. By the time you form that team, Nafisa has already submitted her proposal with the recommendations from those mentors she was saying. By the time you go looking, who can I ask to be my mentor? By the time you finish scratching your head, it is 3 days. The deadline is past. Prepare yourself. Are you hearing? Let me tell you, because I speak to students, many students, particularly engineering students. They like organizing this forum. And you know there are many. There are the civil, the mechanical, the other one. There are many engineering. So I meet many engineering students, business and things like this. And I'll tell them something I usually tell them. I don't know how many of you are in this room. Let's assume you are maybe 30. How many are here? Let's say 35. Some of you, you are all listening. You are listening. You have all listened to Nafisa and you are listening to me. I hope you are listening. Let me tell you, some of you will get out of here and go and ask yourself, what can I do with what I have had today? You start forming a strategy around the things you have learned. Others, you go and say it was good, we came there, we drank water, and that is it. And then, 20 years down the line, if we come and try to trace your career, we will see Some of your careers will have so dramatically changed because you are here today. You had something, you applied it, and you succeed in your career. Of course, you need the blessing of God to succeed. Don't just go and form teams and look for mentors and forget. You also need divine intervention. But depending on what you do with what you hear in this place today, it will have a great impact on you. 20, 30 years. Actually, there is a study done in Harvard. Somebody followed a group of students over 50 years when they were in school, when they graduated, and when they went to their careers. Followed their characters. You know, like now I start following you, what you do after here, when you go to sleep. Yesterday it was Friday. Where did you go to make noise? I know some of you like to go and empty the clinical things from your head too. But please don't waste time in your potential. The future is ahead of you. I shouldn't get overtaken by this nice talk, but I wish, Nafisa, next time, tell them you will only speak when there is a camera. And you can put the speech on YouTube and you monetize it. Yeah, because people will follow, isn't it? People will follow. I mean, this was a great thing here, what you just said. If you threw it into YouTube, I believe, I'm telling you, in a couple of days, you see how big a following you have. I'm not saying you should not record me and put me there also. Eh? But immediately after Nafisa, mine should be there because hers will gather more followers. And then maybe she can share the revenue. That's what I think, honestly. But thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. But I want to start by just orienting a little bit as you write these grants, because I'm not sure what you have thought about this thing. Let me tell you two terms that nowadays I see becoming very important. It is good to understand when we approach other people for support. When we approach other people for support, there is a problem in how we present ourselves. Let us not go with a beggar kind of an approach. You understand? You know, Nafisa said you guys are broke. It's true. Even us, we are broke. Now, I'm the age of your parents. And believe me, even as we are broke, it's only that we don't declare it out, otherwise we might break your hearts. But when you go to approach these people who are giving you these resources, go there, present that I have something. I need you to give me something so that together we can accomplish something bigger. You understand? This is the way you are saying, I have come with my knowledge, I have expertise, I have skills, isn't it? I have connections, I have partnerships. You have money, or you have another reason. So what I'm saying is, let me put what I have on the table. Put what you have on the table. And together we do a great thing. The people who are funding Nafisa, giving that $5,000, there is something they also want to accomplish, isn't it? Because after you've done the grant, they also tell her to report. They use that report maybe to report to another person because every. Let's resume because our slides are back. But I wanted to point you to what is this term, resource mobilization. I know you've heard about it more. I know many people talk about fundraising, resource mobilization, and I say it because resource is more broader in terms of what you're looking. There is a thinking of how do you see the people you go to get money from? Either they are your funders or donors. This is the one I want to get from our head. When you see the person you are going to as a donor, there is a dependence kind of a relationship you're already establishing. The one I want to bring to you is what you are seeing there, number 2. This is a resource partner. What is called resource partner? I like it very much because I said you are forming a partnership. And this is, I connected to what Nafisa said here. Establish, and I don't know whether we'll find that slide here. Establish personal relationships with even the people you are writing to. You know, it's not just drawing a proposal. They don't know you, they have never heard of you. Establish personal relationships. A relationship is a partnership, isn't it? Because you are going to explain, I want to do this, you want to do this. So very, very important. And this slide here is just to show you the different kinds of resources you can mobilize. So don't just keep it in your head that what you can look for is money. It can be other things. In your case, it could be even scholarships, for example. I know some of you want to go on and pursue other training, not necessarily even postgraduate. It could be specialized training. Maybe there is something you have had they teach in Japan or Korea or US or Canada or wherever. Apply, and somebody can fund you to go there and spend time. All these things. You probably feel you need a vehicle, maybe to get your work done. Apply. Don't ask for money. By the way, you'll be surprised how many people are willing to give you other things other than money. Eh? There are some of the books, I don't know whether some of you have been in the library, and even some of our labs here have been equipped through proposals. We wrote to people and told them what we need is equipment in a lab, not money. We didn't ask for money. And some of them gave us containers full of equipment to put in our labs. You can't imagine how many millions of shillings. So, Nafisa already talked about these things, analyzing where do you want to apply for these resources. I will say something about the approach, because you cannot, one of the things, she showed you the different organizations she has approached. How you approach one organization is very different from how you approach the other. Their needs are very, very different. Their temperaments, their culture is very, very different. If you are going to be applying for a grant from the Japanese, it is very different from the way Americans are. Very different. Some organizations like something called co-creation. They like to think with you, work together on that proposal. Americans like co-creation. Eh? The British don't really care about co-creation. They are very thorough. The British are more focused on having a Briton inside there. You need to know about these things. The Japanese are more concerned about, the relationship you have with the people as you're working. So it's very, very important to understand. Of course, Kenyans. If you are applying to Kenyans, most likely somebody will be thinking, what will be my cap in this thing? You have to be careful. Because it's like being in a jungle, isn't it? It's like being in a jungle. You have to know these things. So, and then you develop a communication plan tailored to these different people. How are you going to reach them? Very, very important to understand these things. And I don't know whether we will have a point to mention this, because time is not there, but you get these slides. This last point here speaks to what you do after you have even written the grant. Hopefully you do the work very well, because it is one thing getting the money. It's another doing the project well, accountably, transparently. And I say this also from experience. I have seen people struggle here to write proposals. When they got the information, have you seen that email which Nafisa received? They forget what they were writing the proposal to do. The moment you receive your project is funded, you are going to be receiving $100,000. Immediately they head to Kamakis, start looking for plots and things to buy. You forget, you are writing a proposal to them. I have seen people even forget the key of their car in the phone in my office, because the check is ready for the grant. Now you are already getting into trouble. You cannot fulfill this, because at the end of the day, you are expected to do the project well, accountably, and report. When you are reporting, you are also helping to create a good story for the person who funded you. Anyway, there are overlaps in these different stages. Identifying, and you see, like it, Nafisa had almost a cyclic thing like this. You identify a source. Let's say you have identified like which organization. USAID is a good funder for the kind of work you do in health, or Gates Foundation. Then you engage them. How do you engage them? Whether you're going to call or visit them, a lot of these guys are here, right here in Nairobi. You will find all the funding organizations, they have offices. Nothing stops you from walking in and introducing yourself. They will listen to you. The worst they can do is tell you, we have had you go back home. That is it. Otherwise, they might just tell you, we had a professor here in this university, unfortunately, he died. He was so beloved by donors. When the rest of others were competing, he was being funded by Rockefeller Foundation. They would set aside money for him. Like they say, this money is for others to compete. This one is for you. Come and tell us what you want to do with it. Can you imagine? This guy built a lab there. There's a genomics lab. With money, donors will call him. Come and tell us what you want to do. Can you imagine, by the time you reach there, you have done a good engagement. People know you. They know what you're capable of. Negotiating. Sometimes you see they have made a call. They say, apply like this, provide us with this information. If you think you are not meeting all the requirements, go ahead and explain. What requirement can you meet? If you're not meeting everything, don't just say, that donor said I must have this and the other. Don't worry.
Some of them will say you must have graduated and finished. I don't know what you do after you finish your studies. You go for is it internship or attachment? Or you know those things. They might tell you you must have done this or done how many surgeries. If you have done one, don't worry, go and tell them, you know what, here and found only one patient. That's the one I've done surgery. Negotiate. Don't just give up. And then after you have done the project, it is really very important reporting and communicating the results. This is very important because it connects. There is something called continuity. I can tell you, when Nafisa gets one grant, in her mind she's thinking, by the time I finish this one, it must have connected me to the next one. Unfortunately, many people get funded, and that is it, terminal. When you see you have $100,000 or that $1 million nowadays in KU, when you have a project of $1 million, it is not big. So maybe people will say hello because you have $1 million project, but that's nothing big. But let me tell you the mistake people make. When you get that $1 million, you are not planning for the next one. You settle until you spend that $3 million. Then you wake up and realize it is finished. You start again. You need to be thinking when you are here, implementing, you are communicating and looking for how we like this, because you have so many years to live on earth. What will you be doing if only you stop after you get one project? Engaging. This is a very important slide for you. Engaging. How do you do it? The approach here, face to face. Organize a meeting. Like Nafisa, she said in K&H, go and look for those people who have the money and introduce yourself. Of course, go well presented, isn't it? You can't just go there. You have just woken up, even your face is not clean, then you are turning up to introduce yourself. They will not be happy to look at you. And when you go prepared. If you come to my office and ask for an appointment, I have a clock. Many people don't know it's a clock because it faces me. You see, you are seeing it from the back, but for me, it faces me. And I ask you, usually I ask people, Vincent, I ask people, how many minutes do you want? Because my time is quite limited every day. Even now, I wanted to leave at 11. Now it is 11:05. I think after this, you start paying me, Alphonse. But what I wanted to tell you is this. Usually, if you tell me it is 10 minutes, I time on that clock, I'm looking at it, and I want to see. For you to use that time properly, you need to come prepared. Keep it short and snappy. Be precise. You can't come and start telling me, you know me, I'm from medical school, and you know in medical school, we are usually broke. So I have been, you are saying, what are you telling me all that stuff? I will listen, no problem. But when 8 minutes ahead, I will tell you have 2 minutes. And that's when you start telling me about your proposal. Come prepared with something written, even if it is half a page or 1 page of this idea that you have, to leave me with, to read. Don't tell me you send me by WhatsApp. Now you are sending me, my WhatsApp now has how many thousands of messages I've not read. People are dead, they are fundraising, others I don't know are going where, and you are now lads there. You just get lost. Leave me with your page there and remind me to read it. Very important. Not 5 pages or 10, 2 pages at most. Make it appealing. Have a fact sheet. If the issue you are looking for, I wish I had time to show you, because grant writing, you have to support your case with the data. What is the issue you want to do? She's talked about that site, infection site. What are you calling it? Site or infection? That surgical site. That surgical site infection. If you are going to ask for resources from me to deal with surgical infections, you must show me how serious of a problem is it. How many people, as she said, I was listening, or every often you are seeing patients coming back, isn't it? I actually started wondering, I might not go to that hospital. You see, you have to come with the data. How many cases? In the last 1 month, there were 50 cases out of 60 patients. Now I start taking note, because if 60 people are operated on and 50 got infections, we have a problem. In February, it was 9 out of 100. In these statistics, they make, this is what we are saying here, a fact sheet. Have it ready. Don't just come to tell me, people are dying. Have you not heard how people have died? You know the people you read on Kahawatungu. Do you guys read Kahawatungu and Tuzo? Is it Tuko News? Tuko News. Tuko News. I know some of you spend time there reading Nyakundi, Nyakundi, or those bloggers who have had all kinds of rumors except the facts. You can't come to me and start putting, according to Cyprian Yagudi, how many people have died in the. I want statistics which came from an office within the hospital, because you have to cite the source of that. They tell me it is the head of that, maybe you section. Who heads that section of the. Anyway, I know you are understanding. You know, make it personal. Find out the names of the people you are going to talk to. If you are coming to me, you know, I was amazed she knows me. Like she did. Actually, you really impressed me. If I had knew a better number, I could send you something. You know, you know, she impressed me by having details about me. Not many people have this kind of details, so I don't know where you got it. But if somewhere there is my bio, it appears somewhere. But normally, not everyone knows me. You know, like if you come to me and say, "I know you are Mainamongi. I know you went to school in this," Allah, you know, you're already personal. Find the names. If you're going to talk to the USA guys, find out. You can Google. Find out. Is it James? Is it Rose or Mary? So when you walk in, impress them by saying, I have done some background. Very, very important. You know, if you're going to write a letter, don't write these letters which start with to whom it may concern. What are you talking about? To whom it may concern. You know, people receive that letter, and if I open it, I just ask in the office, who is called who is may concern around here? If nobody answers, we ask for the dustbin. You see, address a letter to the right person. Chandaria, in the place I work, has many people. There are probably 10 staff in that place all the time. If you just write a letter to Chandaria, who is it to? There are several sections. Who is it to? Personalize it. Up to date. Let me tell you something. If you, like now, you said you have some startup, like Jasiri. Jasiri. If Nafisa, you allow me, Nafisa, to use you as an example, you threw out my talk. As we said, we will share the revenue. When do they put us on there? On YouTube. You guys must do that. You have to invite us again and make sure there is a camera. Now, if Nafisa tells me something about Jasiri, and I don't know a lot, usually I will start searching. The first thing I go is like Google, and I'm searching who is Jasiri or who is Nafisa. I go to LinkedIn, I go to all these places. But if your website is not updated, she impressed me by saying she went to KU website. It is true. I agree. Our website is another story. You know, it is ours. Even you belong here. It's ours. It's another story. If you are going to be doing business, if you have a social media profile or something, like now you are here attending this forum, why can't you, have you tweeted? Is it tweeted or that message? Does anybody know in this world that you are here? That you listened to Nafisa? Does anybody know? Oh, look at you. What is the difference between those who are here and those who are asleep? You know, like, be present. If you are on, you have LinkedIn, go and write. Today, I was here. Have you seen how the Vice Chancellor writes? Do you follow his profile on X? You don't. And he writes for you. Who follows him then? I think we must tell him to stop writing. He has been writing every day. When he meets some guests, he writes, today, meeting the CES of this and the other, and you guys don't follow. Anyway, on you as go and write, today, I listened to Nafisa, Great lessons on part of part. When I come to look for your profile, I will see you are here. And by the way, don't take this. There's a friend of mine that had to come. I don't know whether she's here. Anyway, that's a story for another day. When you call us, I'll tell you. But what I wanted to tell you is, update the information you have. If the photo we have is of you when you left Form 4, with the jeans, with the torn at the knee, it doesn't make you look very serious. But now, since you have grown, in the last 3-4 years, you have matured. You have known, some of you, your hairstyles, when you were coming in, you know, we saw you. Your hairstyle, the dressing, and everything. Please, update those things. Anyway, let me finish with that, and the rest you read. But this is what I was talking about, balance. When you are writing grants or looking for resources, you're looking for a balanced portfolio. Don't just focus your mind on one thing. Nafisa applied for mentorship, placement in a career for that, a grant, whatever it is. When there was a travel opportunity, all these are things you can get. Scholarships, you can do a consultancy. What's the problem? If there is somebody with money to pay to be somebody to do that research on those surgical sites, you guys are able to do. If I say I'm going to pay $5,000, why should you let it pass? Simply because maybe you feel you have not gone there and get the money. It is money. You are looking for money, whether it came from grant or consultancy. Alumni. Let me tell you something. A major resource are alumni. Do you know some guys who studied here in KU? Like who? In medical school. You all of you in medical school. Do you know anyone, any successful person who studied here in medical school? Navisa, please, you have had the challenge. I don't want to repeat this. Let me not. You have had. Go and make it your business to know who studied in this place is where in the world. She just said, don't limit yourself even to local. Some of your people here maybe are in the World Health Organization or in which other one are there? The global ones, isn't it? Like the one she was saying, it's a the Wellcome Trust, isn't it? This global, the tropical medical, whatever. All these places, I hear Kenyan, I hear they are the Kenyan being mentioned there. There's a Kenyan now who is leaving the WHO, is it, or the African Union? I just heard yesterday. You know, there are people who are placed in places. You need to know. If for nothing else, at least you can introduce yourself and say, I'm a fellow Kenyan, isn't it? But you don't even know they come from Kenya. Yeah? Alumni, they are very important. There is a slide which talks about alumni as a resource to yourselves, to institutions. Anyway, let me tell you something. This slide and the next one are important for you. Because you are here, you are in health. The opportunities you are likely to connect to may not be specifically here. Maybe somebody has resources in environment, but they are having impact on how environment is impacting on health, isn't it? Or a connection between ICT and, for example, in the Chandaria Center, most of the innovations are in ICT. I know some, maybe 3, 4, or 5 are in health. There are 3 I know are people from ICT who came and they have innovations in health. Okay? Maybe they are working with some of your lecturers, even colleagues here. It could be, for example, in finances. It could be in nutrition. This follows more from education. It could even be in education. So keep an eye on what's happening beyond. Don't just, even here, this is what I ask the students when I come to talk to them, particularly from engineering. Do they ever find time to meet students from other departments? Because we talk about forming networks and partnerships, and we think more of people who are outside of our departments or our institutions. Start here, isn't it? Even charity begins at, go and find, do you know anyone other than those who are in the School of Health? How many of you know people in other schools? Allah? Right? Vincent, you guys have to do something. Please carry them and introduce them. Maybe you should make a tour to engineering, you be introduced to engineering students, and you go to education, you be introduced to education students. To be particularly, if you're going to be doing business, you need to know people in create partnerships. The team that Nafisa was talking about, those 3, 4, 5 people, not all of them are going to be in health. They could be experts from these other areas. You make some, when you're writing proposals, there is your area of specialization, the disciplinary area. Then there is multidisciplinary. Then there is transdisciplinary. Is when you do something like, it's so weird, the connection, like you're in health, and you connect with another discipline which is so far away from health. I didn't put law here. I think there's also legal issues in health, isn't it? You know, something like that. You create new knowledge when you bring people who are from very different disciplines. Americans are particularly impressed by that. Bring together people who ordinarily wouldn't be seated in the same room, and then tell them, leave your medicine there, like medicine and history. You think medicine and history could be doing anything? I don't know. I cannot think of anything. But maybe if you brought a historian and a medical person, they are going to create something. What I want to say is to act here. When you are locating opportunities, figure out who are you targeting. The people who have money are interested in different things. For example, they are those who are interested in youth. I think, for example, STIs, isn't it? Reproductive health. They are interested in women. Now, if you don't understand these, then you are going to, there are people who are interested in how nutrition is affecting health outcomes. Things like there are people who are focused on the elderly. You need to understand the needs of these infants. There are people who are only bothered with children. There are people who are interested in areas of conflict, where people have injuries maybe from gunshots or they fought and things like that. Anyway, let me leave that. Showcasing your capacity. I think that's about this thing. You guys, I think you are a club here, so you could write as a club or as individuals. How do you explain to people? Because I told you, you are coming with something. You're not coming empty-handed. How do you showcase what you have? What is unique that you have? Do you even know? What unique thing do you have? I'm asking you, this is the content we are putting on YouTube. We want to follow us, so answer. What facilities do you have, for example, even in your school? Do you know any unique infrastructure you have? Like this hospital, the KU hospital. Nowadays, when they are advertising themselves, do you hear the term? Maybe you guys understand the kind of equipment they are. What is a cyber knife? You know, those kind of things, they mention them to dozens of people. They make people feel like, I hope they work. Yeah. But do you know, when they mention those things are there, you kind of get an impression, these people are not a joke, isn't it? When you are writing a proposal, you need to package yourself, find out the things you have. Like Nafisa was saying, the people she's connected to. I even now remember their name, Rebecca or Juka. Are you imagining? Can you imagine if the proposal was sent to me to review? I review proposals for many people. I review, believe you me. There are details that stick out. You can't forget it. You can't read the proposal. You want to give money, isn't it? You want to give money. Because those are things you're putting here, showcasing how connected you are. We are talking about partnerships. Who do you know? Who are you connected to? Track record. She has already shown you examples of 2 projects she has won. It is easy now to get another 2 or 3, isn't it? Because she said, I was given this one, I managed successfully. And do you know what happens? When she manages the one for poor hair successfully, if she applies to me, I will just pick a phone and call poor hair. Hey, do you know Nafisa? Did she do this project? Were you happy with it? Yes, tick. You understand? Track record. What track record do you have? If we start looking for your footprint, where are we going to find you? On Facebook, abusing others? And where else? I don't know. In the clubs, in Kamakis. You are the champion of going there on Friday. In innovations. Do you know, when you are talking, I was wondering, you know, Nafisa, it's like she had this innovation. Innovations. She was talking about innovations, isn't it? What do you have as an innovation? You guys are working in an area fertile for innovation. Developing solutions, because there are so many challenges, isn't it? So many innovations around this. What have you done? You know that other people. I think we will follow that on your own. This is an example. I want to show you if you have a website. See how people write. When you get this slide going right here, how you present what you have, how you describe your capacity. You can't read it, but this is from an example. I think it is from Cape Town. How you present. Do you have a website? Your club, Kumnet. You have. I should read it and see what you have put there. This is another one. When you talk about, like now you know Nafisa. Go ahead and decorate your website with Nafisa and then connect to her, because she is connected to other people. Just tag along her, follow her. If you don't have followers, let those who follow Nafisa, follow them, isn't it? Nafisa, please allow them. Let them also color their place by following you. So when you start talking about collaboration, now say, we know someone in Chandari, we know some other person, but you want to see it there. Did you? Oh yeah, I saw you are taking a photo. Go and decorate your website with it. This is where I was telling you about alumni. I just wanted you to focus on this alumni. This is one single example of a guy from Scott Kenneth Griffin in Harvard. He finished there and he has recently given, I think, up to $500 million. Just goes back to the school to give. You, as a club, If you apply, write to these guys who started here and they are successful and tell them, hey, we have a mission, or we want to do this as a club. Can you support us? There are people with money and they are looking to do good. When you are, because you have been told to go global, I will say, I wanted to skip it, but I will mention it now. When you are writing proposals, you are here in Kenya. It's very, very important to understand where you are placed in this region. Because most likely some of the projects you want to do, you will collaborate with people in other countries, isn't it? Now it's very, very important. Kenya is an Anglophone country. The people who've had grants, all these regions, you see these blue countries, these are Francophone. If, for example, you're looking for money from French government, if you don't have partners here, forget it. Because for the French government, they are not interested in the Anglophone. They've been trying to enter here, but they are interested to keep hold of their territory. Very, very important. Of course, they are up here. You have the others in Arabic and the other things. In this one, this is where Kenya is. I don't know whether you follow this categorization of countries by income status. But don't just apply blindly. There are funds you cannot apply now, you will not get, because Kenya is a little bit here. It's a middle income country. That has implications. So recently, for example, UN funded. UN, the same UN. There is money given to, let's say, like here, Uganda. Uganda is just against here. But Uganda is low income. The guys there are getting $1 million. We cannot even apply it because we are simply ahead. So don't waste time here. Know how to strategically position yourself. If you are going to partner, I want to use this statistic to demonstrate something. If you are going to partner with other regions, this shows you, for example, these are proposals which were written about 10 years ago. They make a good case because the projects are still ongoing. And these were big projects, worth $5 million, $6 million each. Look at East Africa, we are here. We submitted a quota of the proposals. We won 18%. Look at Southern Africa, they submitted almost the same number, a quota of the proposals. Look at how much funding they got. What does that tell you? There is something the South Africans know how to do to get more of the money, isn't it? Now look at Western Africa. Just there, they are performing like us. Look at Northern Africa, not so bad. But if you're going to find a partner to get money, I would rather you get one from Southern Africa. This is strategic positioning. Don't always aim to partner in-house. I think it is very, very important. There is something that Nafisa talked about, a very good thing. If you're going to write proposals, Nafisa said her experience is writing in a team is good. I want to show you this statistic. You can also get bogged down if you choose the wrong people. Usually, you have a very high chance of getting the money when you are 1 to 2 people leading the effort. I see this all the time. When you have a committee of 10 people, divided like this, can you see? Where you have 10 people or more in a project, you have 1% chance of success. The fewer you are giving it concentrated effort, the better. Anyway, to talk to you about this, reading the guidelines, checking whether you are eligible to apply, there is parting you can't apply. I usually give people the example of Omtata. You know Okia Omtata? Now he's a senator. Before Okia Omtata became a senator, he was an activist. And Omtata used to be given money for activism, like that. People just call him, no, Omtata, we have money. What do you want us to do? Go take the government to court. Now you can't go to apply for that money. There is no application form. It is your record of performance. Omtata used to tie himself with chains outside Parliament or some other place. Have you tied yourself anywhere? Yeah? So eligibility, that's what I'm saying. Check who is eligible to apply. Who is eligible to apply? Very, very important. Plan for internal review. Don't just hurriedly write the proposal and send it. Find somebody here to check it, review it for you. Now you know Nafisa. I hope you read for them if they apply. Send to Nafisa to review for you. Before you send it to, did you hear what he said? She will write, send it to the mentor. Is it correct here? Improve here. It's a very important thing. Here, I know people are afraid of losing your proposal. You give me your proposal to review. It has happened. It's something called intellectual theft. Intellectual theft. You give me your proposal. I see the idea is very good. See, the deadline is still ahead. I steal the idea. Me, I return your proposal and tell you it is terrible, but I go on, I put my name there and submit it. No, don't be afraid. I would rather you give it to somebody to improve, and you improve, you increase your chances of winning. I don't know. I already talked about this. Who said the issue is important? The thing that you want to write a grant or proposal for. You know, go and make sure you have current information, good updated information. How do you demonstrate the importance of this problem that you are telling us? In this is a show you of how you analyze. It needs to be a high priority thing and high impact. And how do you demonstrate the impact? For example, how many people are affected? You have to cite data. If an issue is affecting only 2 or 3 people, don't waste time with it. We have other problems which are affecting many more people. The scale of impact, like are they dying when they are infected? They do. You see now, it's leading to death. Irreversible harm. I think the thing to do in medicine, maybe some of them are here. If you don't do anything, it can quickly get out of hand here. Spreading. How do you anchor the evidence? I come back here because it's very, very important. We ask, if you tell me 100 people are affected, I will ask, where did you get that information? We like to see reference to government data, World Bank, all these UN data, they're very good. It's also good you link your proposals to the development plans of the country. The Vision 2030, I know some of you, particularly young people, you hear Vision 2030 and it means nothing to you. To the people who give money, it means a lot. You have to anchor your thoughts and ideas to, like now for the government of Kenya, it is there. You know what is the plan? What is the current development agenda of the Kenya Kwanza government? Please. Have you heard about the bottom-up economic transformation agenda? So to you, it was a political slogan the other day. Right now, if you don't anchor, align your proposal to beta, like that, you're not likely to go anywhere because people want to see how are you feeding into the beta. It has, since it's online, it has transitioned from the political slogan to a serious government agenda. I would like to see it in your proposal if I'm a reviewer. If I don't see it, I take you down. You know, these are the things like this. I caution here, resources are those Kawadungu and the other guys that you might want to see. The last point is very, very important. You can write using text, but if you can use images or graphs, it also helps. I don't know where these figures, what we were talking about, but they are showing, for example, this is mortality rate. Mortality rate. The one in blue here shows for under 5. I don't know whether you can read from there. This is under 5. The statistics under 5. This is all ages. Do you know? You could write this in text. This is the text which generated this graph. You are simply saying children are dying out of malaria infection. But when you plot it in a graph like this, and I can see from 2002, they were increasing. Even if my heart is made of stone, and you are writing a proposal to do something to reduce this death, don't you think you move me? You are able to make a case more strongly by showing it graphically. For those who are in food, I don't know whether you can see this tomato, but this is an issue where you are saying food products are contaminated with chemicals, for example, pesticides. You can write that, but when you show an image of everybody eats tomato, do you eat tomato? I heard you are broke. Maybe you don't. You do. The ones you have bought, or if you meet it in another person's house. The thing is this: when you see these foods, you can see the way they have smudges of chemicals. It makes you pause and think, isn't it? It helps to make a more convincing case. Let us do something about this. Otherwise, this situation is going to get out of hand. Very, very important. Anyway, disaggregating information. Don't just say people in a proposal. You say people are dying. What do you mean people? Which people? Separate and say how many men, how many women, how many children. Very, very important because particularly many people tend to be very sensitive to women. Use emotion in proposals. You're trying to convince people to give you money. Trigger emotion. Don't just say people are dying. When you say that, look at this statement. If you say 50 mothers have died at childbirth, 50 mothers, and then you are saying how many children have been left orphaned, that is what it means. You understand? You are creating emotion to make me give you the money to do something to solve this problem. Are you understanding? So don't just say 50 people have died. Maybe some were. Okay. Move on very quickly. I think you talk about the methodology is very, very important. For example, where are you going to do your project? If you're given the $5,000 or $10,000 or $100,000, where will you go? Some people say, my project will be based in Mombasa, in Kilifi, and places like this. For some donors, when you say Kilifi or Mombasa, they associate the place with holiday mood, isn't it? They think you are simply going there to enjoy life and chew their money. So it's very, very important. And then, of course, the cost goes to Mombasa. I mean, you have to fly, isn't it? Or I don't know, maybe take the SDR. You have to be thinking about it. Who will be involved in your project? So you say, we are going to be 5 or 10 people. Why 10 people? If I am a donor, I am going to ask you that question. Why do you need 10 people? That work can be done by 2 people. Why? Why are they there? What value are they adding? Which expertise? And for how long are you keeping them? Africans are known to hire your relatives. I give you money for a project, call your brother, bring the other one, your friends also bring their children. We forget we are supposed to be doing something professional, isn't it? Let me tell you, because I do projects, even now I'm doing a project. I have a project which is not long ago given money. I'm a researcher myself. So I have a project which is over 100 million of shillings given. So I'm doing. Now, when I don't know, it's written somewhere. I have this project. Believe me, how many CVs I have received there on my table. Even some guys I have not seen for some years wrote to me, hey, we have seen you. They call me boss, you are doing well. Don't forget us. So that's the thing, you have to make a case. Then let me just, because these are my last slides, I think they are 4. I want to mention them because you have to pay attention to. There is what is professional, technical, the things in medical things, the ones you do. These are professional, like how to deal with those surgical infections and things like that. In grants or in proposals, we are also looking for, very important, something called gender equality and social inclusion. And that's why I told you, always disaggregate. We want to see how many men are involved, how many women, how many youth, how many people living with disabilities, how many vulnerable. Disaggregate. Show us that you are not going to leave anyone behind. Because you can't do a project which empowers men or empowers women. Nowadays, I think Nafisa, there are many projects which empower women and men have been left behind. So now in the next few years, we will be looking for projects to empower men. It is true. There are many projects which have empowered women. I'm not saying they left the men behind. Maybe they are now there, but we need to do something. But the vulnerable, very, very important. Look at this image here. See these guys at the end? Elastic track. Very, very important. How do you involve them? Because I will ask you, when I'm reviewing your proposal, who told you what women are interested in? Did you speak to them? Did you speak to them? It's very important to show that there was a consultative process. Like you did a needs assessment. Even the ones, don't just sit here and say, I'm a dick, I know what they want. No. Have a sitting with them. Let them speak. Their voice needs to be inclusion, creating opportunities for them, and solving their problems. And that will empower them. It will make your proposal look far better. Sustainability. I told you one problem we have is a project comes, after 2-3 years, it's over, and that's it. There is not even dust to be seen. If you come back, you wouldn't even know there was a project. When you are writing proposals, you have to always demonstrate how it will be continued. Because if I give you money as your funder, I'm not going to be there for 10 years. After some time, the money will end. I want to pull out. Sorry. I want to pull out and leave you continuing. You understand? Very, very important you understand. You show this that the positive impact will be continued. Financial sustainability. If you employ the people in your project and the budget of the project is withdrawn, will you continue paying them a salary? If you are renting a business premises, will you be able to continue sustaining that? It's very, very important. Environment impact. You cannot do a project. It is doing good on one side, but it's also doing harm to the environment. Some of the things you guys do in medical things have high potential to harm the environment, isn't it? To harm the environment, particularly if you don't manage your waste well, isn't it? So you have to demonstrate to me all these things. You have to do as much good and as little harm as possible. Very, very important. You know? And all these things, creating new opportunities as you're moving forward. I think this is the second last. Identifying risks. Much as you have a good proposal, there is always risk. Something can go wrong and it can fail. You have to understand those things. What can go wrong? We are not saying it will go wrong, but there is a rule. I don't know whether it's in physics or chemistry. It says that everything that can go wrong will go wrong. You have to be prepared for that eventuality and show me what will you do when that moment comes. Very, very important. I'll be looking for that one. And then the issue of ethics, particularly in medical issues, this features very, very prominently. You have to show that you secure the necessary permits and approvals. What is your plan regarding your own reputation, your participants, the institution, and the people who are funding you? All of them, you have to secure their interest. At the end of the day, it can't be that we give you funding and we end up with people dead. You understand? Very, very important to show that. Something here, for you to succeed, internal communication, having data. I talked about data to support your document to succeed. Even big institutions like this university, something you can go around looking for data. We are looking for data from medical school. Even like we ask, how many students are there doing these things? How many? By male, by female? I don't know where that data, Vincent, you should tell us. Eh? Sometimes we ask for that, some other data, we can't find it, and you need it for a proposal. And you know you can't just pick it up. You can't pick it up. Visibility. Have you heard about Nafisa? Nafisa is visible. If you ask Poher and all those people who are here, they know you, isn't it? Visibility. I'm sure her footprint. I don't know whether anybody here has already Googled her. Have you? If you haven't, please do. You will see where she is featuring. Visibility. If you are not visible internally and externally, it's a weakness. Because facilities, slow response. Here is a big thing for you. Slow response. We see there is a call for a proposal or an opportunity. It will be in July. Many people say we are in March. Hata hatujaingia March. And the deadline is in July. Wacha kwanza tuzunguke. Tuzunguke June 15 ndio tunaanza kuandika. So no, and the others are there. You can read them for yourselves. So at the end, that will be the last slide. If you have done everything else well, now you are submitting your proposal. Assume you are submitting it to me. There is something called a submission checklist. It is there. It shows you what do you need to submit with your proposal. Have it ready. Something you tick. Next, packaging the proposal. There is a way in which the document needs to be prepared for submission. Make sure it is packaged properly. Submission pathway. You can say send it by email, attach to this email, or upload on this portal. This is something which is creating a lot of problem here, particularly for European Union, Americans, the British funded, because you have to upload the proposals on some portal. I think even for those others, you upload it on a portal. Then you come on this last day, you find the thing is telling you to create an account first, and then you have to validate the account, and it tells you it needs 1 day to validate the account, and that is the day of the deadline. Some of the other portals for receiving proposals, they tell you upload your documents And the system has to validate it, particularly to check for viruses and hackers and things like that. And tells you the link takes 24 hours to validate. All I'm saying is, do things early. Don't just come last minute. Get the necessary approvals. There are some proposals now. If you send them and you are Kumrek and you are in the university, maybe you are dean or a patron. You have a patron. Maybe your patron has to give you or sign somewhere. Some of these approvals are on to be done online. Even now, there are proposals where the vice chancellor has to go and log in. Professor Inenga. Can you imagine now me and Professor Inenga at our age trying to look for something to sign in online? How long it will take us? Please come and understand the people you are dealing with and be prepared. Submit, carry. I thank you so much and I wish you great success as you write.
Thank you very much, Prof. We really appreciate your presentation. I know we have really, I don't know about you guys, but the more I was listening, the more I was realizing how much I do not know actually. And now we know that it is important for us to have knowledge. So I'd like to open this session for your questions for both Nafisa and Prof. Very fast, those of you who have questions, you can go ahead and ask so that we can finish up the Q&A session, then invite the next speaker. You have a question? Yes, Eddie.
So I have a question. There is a grant that was and then the grant was and they came to you and raised some issues that is to be told. And then so in such a case,
Who had the comment? Two things can happen. Because the non-compliance is not on you, it is the institution. Most likely it is something that can be explained. Why is that the case? I can tell you the causes of non-compliance. One is, for example, tax compliance, that the university has regulated all its taxes. Sometimes it's lagging behind, and this is a big issue. But that is not for the student because this is to be explained to them. Or maybe they came and somebody didn't answer them. It would have been good to ask them what was the non-compliance and we follow. Like make an appeal. Say, no, we are here, we weren't given a chance to. We check what was non-compliance.
They had come last year with the grants, and then they identified the issue. And then now they got the grant around December last year, they came ahead to they raised the same issue and they're supposed to resolve it, but it has still not been solved. So they say they have followed up.
Really? I think I would really like to take that up because it's something we can easily handle in whichever way. But I let you know. Otherwise, you've done the bigger part of submitting the application. I wouldn't be right that it is withdrawn because of no fault.
Any other questions? Yes, please.
My question is to both our guests with us today. So we've talked about the things that you need to have prepared, and the question mostly is what exactly should be in my proposal? Basically what should be in that proposal? The important things that should not be.
So ideally, when you're submitting for a grant, on their website, they will have everything that they require very well outlined. So like, if I can give an example from the RSK mentioned that they applied, you just go into that, because currently at the moment they are actually opening up applications for the 2024 grant award. So if you just go into it, they will give a very detailed as to what I want it to feature in the application that you're going to varies between different organizations and different grant organizations. So all you have to do is just to be very specific and say, okay, this organization wants me to ensure that I have my background written well, my methodology written well, my justification and my budget well outlined. So it's not a standard format, but it varies between different organizations and what they require. So all you have to do is do your due diligence and ensure you read through the requirements on their website, see that this is how they want you to format your proposal, and ensure that whatever you write, you're going to follow and adhere to that, because that can easily make you not be accepted. And you could be having a very good case, but just because you did not follow the format that they wanted, then it throws you off. So it varies, but you just find the details on the website that you have found.
Well, I would say all I have said should be there because every template has guidelines. Normally they tell you what is to be included. In a few cases they can tell you what is not to be, what they don't want. But mostly they will tell you what they want to say. Just comply with it. What I can say is with regard to requirements, there are two levels. They are mandatory requirements. Also you must comply with. And then there are other requirements which maybe it's not so bad if you don't have them, but they can affect your success. The mandatory makes you comply. The others, they should not inhibit you. It will surprise you. Sometimes somebody can make a call and you are free to apply. You think maybe you have not met the requirement, or you are thinking other people will apply. Then you can be surprised. You are the only one who, or there are 2 or 3 of you, and you are the best still. So, what I would say is, don't be the judge of what is lacking. Do the proposal, let others go and decide whether they will give you the money. But give it your best effort. Give it your best effort.
A question to if you write your grant and then it's declined and you notice there was intellectual debt, how do you go about
Good question. I mean, it could go to the personal storage. So you are going to share the money with me. Anyway, it's actually not a very good matter. One is you can raise the issue with both the organization funding, if you particularly if you have documented evidence. Like if you send me your document to you, or you know I had access to it in some way. And you can for sure show that there is an email linking to me, and I have submitted it. What we are doing is petitioning the funding organization. One, to withdraw that award and consider directing it to you. That's what we are saying. And I do think many organizations that's why particularly withdraw it because they don't want to. That's proud. They will withdraw it. And now maybe about getting it to you is another matter. And because they have again to check whether you are really a member of it. But don't keep quiet. Don't keep quiet if you see somebody has stolen your idea. Speak out. For me, I would categorically say no. There is no need. If you've already done the project, you probably found a solution to whatever issue you are dealing. I would say this. Maybe you've already started already because every topic you take continues. Knowledge continues. So you're saying, I already did what I consider to be phase 1. I need funding to continue with this one. Like that. That's a very actually in writing projects you always aim to build onto. Don't start afresh. Build on what you can even build on what the Nafisa have done. You say Nafisa did this, reached it, me I want to build on our work and continue. It makes a very compelling case from our review. Showing awareness of what's happening in the environment. You can't, for example, go and start doing you can't go and do cervical site infections and you don't even know that Nafisa and the team are doing it. But it's not to say you can't do something about it, but you need to do it in the proposal I know that these are the team are doing something around it, but maybe there is an aspect they have not covered. In other words, identify a niche.
Any other questions? So at this point, we'd like to appreciate our guests. We'd like to thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Nafisa, for everything you've been able to teach us. Thank you, Prof. I remember if any of you were in the Kumre conference last year, you remember what Professor Obimbo said about standing on the shoulders of great giants. Yeah, do you guys remember?
Yes.
Really, Professor Maina has been that. So many students, especially those of whom are interested in research. Thank you so much for allowing us to stand on your shoulders and for actually taking your time to come. And at this time, I'd like to invite Alphonse to come and award the Prof. And then I'd like to invite Winnie Kimani to come and award Nafisa. Or we do the other way around. You can award Nafisa, then Winnie award Prof. Winnie, please.
Okay, as we have one, first of all, I want to
I was saying that listen, I must think about what we have. I was there standing here and that is done. I was saying
This is going to just a few comments. First of all, thank you for honoring our invitation, Professor. I'm very grateful for that. I think in anatomy we learn about the brain and the stomach. The little difference between the brain and the stomach that I think you can identify one is empty. I don't know which one. But it is a chance that I think the president, the more we learn, the more we know our ignorance unfolds. And thank you so much for honoring this invitation. Thank you.
Nafisa, please come forward.
On a Saturday. This is the day that people have set aside for their families, for their other activities. But let me tell you for sure, if you did that letter, even through the VC, and invite him for this function, most likely he will have not come. Yeah, but he just took a phone call. Yeah, a phone call to him and request him. Students are having this function. Will you kindly? Yeah. So just still underscoring what she talked about, having a network, having people whom you can work with, and don't despise the past that you worked with Daniel, you worked with Max, you worked with Brenda, and you finished that work. Huh? Now you're on your own. No. Always remember the people you had small achievements with. They could unlock a very big situation that you're in. So I just want to pick 3 points from what our speakers have said. I know you've taken a lot of notes, but one thing I picked, especially when she was presenting, is that always be ready to use what is available. What is available? Yeah. When I came in and we were chatting with her, I was just telling her how you guys are so tech savvy, things in the digital world more than us. That is something that is available to you. How can you transform it to suit what you want to do? Yeah. So, secondly, I know you've heard about this many times, making your bed. Yeah. Making your bed is something that you do daily. When you wake up, you just, you can leave it. After all, it's you coming back to sleep in that bed, huh? But you make it a habit. When you get up out of bed, you make it. Yeah, it is not something that is interesting, but when you get used to it, yeah, and that is where it comes when she tells us, you do something, you fail. You do it again, you fail. Maybe on the 3rd attempt, you'll give up. But if you continue, you continue making your bed every day, You wake up, you make your bed. One day there'll be a breakthrough. So kindly, let us keep up, yeah? Like Edith has just said, they won a grant and it has been withdrawn. That one is a big demoralizer. You can feel like you will never do it again, yeah? But do you give up? Do you leave it at that? No. You wake up tomorrow morning and make your bed. So that the opportunity will come, Thirdly, never walk alone. And that one was very emphasized by her, by Prof. Don't walk alone. You have your peers, you have your friends, you have your lecturers, you will pick up mentors. Right now, I can see some of you outside there getting the contact. Never walk alone. Have somebody that you walk with, somebody you inquire, somebody who, you could make a very good proposal, but you've not written English. Right? You've written something that borders English. Yeah? But that other person, when they read through, they say, this is not how we arrange tenses. This is not how, we formulate. Yeah. So the working with somebody will always make you a better person. So peers, mentors, and there's a very important aspect that so many people don't know or they just overlook. There's always the support, the back office support. And this is where I lie. At the School of Health Sciences, we have a project office. And this project office, we do research support. There are so many other things that you are supposed to do that you don't know, even as a scientist, even as the person who's writing the proposal. You have the science and the knowledge of what you want to do. But you might not be able to know how to do the correct budget. Yeah, you'll need somebody with account knowledge, to guide you. Yeah, for an NIH or a US funding, they don't allow such things. Yeah, for a European Union, they will accept such a thing. Yeah, and you're just putting it innocently. You really don't know, but you need this other support. Like Prof was talking about the submission path, the channels that you use to submit. You might have a very good proposal to submit, and you think you can do it until you are told that somebody has to sign. Yeah, you've done everything, but somebody has to sign. Yeah, so that is the support that we have, and also we have so many other resources that you will really need. When you want to have that justification that as a university you are able to do this project because you have blah 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 resources. You've seen Prof saying here they are asking even for numbers of students. Numbers of students in the school, but they cannot get the numbers, and the students are there. Yeah, but when you go to the administrators, they'll be able to sort you out. So there's that other support that you really need to bring in when you're doing this. So I really don't want to talk so much. I thought I would just bring out those 3 points from what has been said. I know you've had really, really, really much knowledge, a great challenge from a fellow student who is doing great things. And personally, I do support research in this university at the School of Health Sciences. I also support in other universities, Jomo Kenyatta, Maseno, and the University of Nairobi. Yeah. So if you are in that space and you really want to get some insight on the research support, we'll always be available. We'll always work with you. We've worked with them. We've worked with the other gentleman. We've worked with Wendy, Cinnamon, as they do their application, and we'll be glad to work together. So kindly, don't die alone. Don't die alone. Yeah, I was telling her in the morning, don't die alone. Don't have a difficulty getting a venue to hold your meetings when there's an office that can organize for you, that can help you organize. Yeah, yeah. Don't be at pains reaching to, you can identify a speaker, but reaching to them is totally different. You call, they're not picking. You send SMSs, they're not reading. You do emails, they're not replying. You go to the office, the secretary tells you they're not available. Don't die alone. There are always channels. You reach out to the office. We'll be able to pull up something. Yeah. So I'm so happy for you guys. You've started quite early, and I know some of you are doing things. I've talked to a few of you. You are doing things. I just want to encourage you. Yeah. And pick up that challenge. Remember the journey you've walked. Don't forget those people you've worked with. Yeah, because those are your referrals. Those are your references. Even your peers are still your reference. Yeah. Whenever somebody wants to come back and ask about you, when Prof talks about footprints, it is only that person who was with you in Karatina when you're doing happy that can also justify that they were with you. Yeah, you cannot justify on your behalf. You see, yeah, even that person who hosted you in Thika when you're doing that whatever research, they could be called and they will authenticate that actually you were there and you did this and you did this. You cannot advocate for yourself. Somebody else has to advocate for yourself. So don't drop the people you've worked with along the way, no matter how small the project you did, no matter how long ago it happened. Always keep tabs. Yeah. So I want to sincerely thank Nafisa and Prof Maina in his absentia for accepting to come and talk to you and challenge you and give you insights. And this was just like an icebreaker for such a thing. So I believe next time you'll organize a more elaborate workshop and invite them again with specific topics so that you can now start working together. And those who've already started the work, you can, improve on what you are doing. So thank you very much, and thank you for being available. Thank you for inviting me, Alphonse, although it was very late, but I thought I will just make an appearance. Thank you very much. And I appreciate all of you. Kindly, when you meet me outside there, say hi and remind me where we met. Thank you, and that is all I can say for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vincent. We are so glad to have you actually, and we are so grateful that you could make time for us. So I'd like to invite Maxwell Conzolo to come and help us award Mr. Vincent. Alphonse. Let's clap for Mr. Vincent again. Okay, thank you very much. Does any one of you have questions for Mr. Vincent before we move forward? Any questions? Okay, so we'll just move to our next session, which is a virtual presentation that will be facilitated by Mr. Augustine, I think. Yeah, Mr. Augustine, please. And it will be a presentation on Actuate Biomedicine. Yeah, which is basically just a project introduction. And Mr. Augustine will take us through it. Karibu. Let's put our hands together for him.
Okay. CUMREC members. Sorry. Nafisa Najil. Bwana Vincent, members of the Kimrek Club, uh, fellow students and friends, good afternoon. My name is Agassi. I am currently enrolled in a Bachelor of Science program in Public Health for their student here at Kenyatta University. Additionally, I hold a role as a coordinator of biomedicine, knowledge translation and commercialization project at Actual Biomedicine. Actual Biomedicine is a platform, it's a blockchain platform that is leveraging blockchain technology and decentralized finance solutions to catalyze biomedical knowledge translation in Africa. What is biomedical knowledge translation? So basically, it's a process of bridging the gap between research discovery and practical solutions in the medical sector. We can't say that we have no knowledge. There's a lot. Nafisa said, we are very good at generating knowledge. Africa is full of knowledge. Africa is full of interest. We are very interested in research and innovation. That's why we are here, because we're interested in research and innovation. But what is lacking? Why are we not investors? Why are we depending on some products from outside, innovation products from outside? What are we not doing? It's something called financial innovation, financial constraint. We are having a problem with finance. That's why we are here. Professor Nafisa Najila taking us through grant writing workshop. It's because we have a problem with finance. So it's high time we need to start thinking outside the box about financial innovation. Nafisa, have you ever heard about financial engineering? Yeah, financial innovation. I know Prof is very passionate about engineering students. He mentioned a lot about talking to engineering, but are we paying attention to financial innovation sector? That's why we are here. Actuate is leveraging blockchain technology and the DeFi solutions to catalyze this biomedical knowledge translation and commercialization issue in Africa. And I think, yeah, knowledge is there. Knowledge is really there. I was feeling good, really happy, listening to Nafisa, how she was very keen at realizing surgical issues appearing. And I know she has undertaken that project, maybe. And maybe at the end of the day, she had solutions or a different way of approach to that treatment so that you don't have surgical cancer, the infection prevention issues. But at the end of the day, we find it hard to actualize this because of finance. You can imagine realizing that very powerful idea and you want to come up with an intervention, but at the end of the day, it will take 3 to 4 years seeking for funds. So it's high time we need to embrace financial innovation concept. So basically, that's why we are here. We have a project called Biomedical Knowledge, Translation and Commercialization in Africa, whereby we are utilizing Actuate token, which is running in Ethereum network, to do that, to catalyze, to fund innovative ideas into the market. You can imagine you guys realizing that there's actually a certain bandage. The bandages which are there are not really working well. And then you discover that when we do this way, maybe when we add something, some gels around, and come up with a different bandage, it can help this way. But that process of translating that up to the market is really capital intensive. It's not an easy process. That's why we are utilizing blockchain technology. And this is not the first time Actual Biomedicine is meeting with Cumbre Club. We had a virtual discovery call last month, yes. And now the leadership, since then we have been in contact with the leadership, and that's why I am here to present that. I'm not alone. Our team is joining virtually. Our CEO, Dr. Macharia Waruingi, he is dialing in from Boston, Massachusetts, USA. And then we also have team members dialing in virtually. So basically, let me not take much time. Let me just invite our CEO to take us through all this, what goes on, and we can see, because we need learners. We don't need anything. We just need learners to learn this and become innovative. We are having a program called Learn to Earn, actually in the incentivized Learn to Earn program, whereby you earn to learn. It's a win-win. You receive token, actual token for you to learn 8 phases of biomedical knowledge, translation, commercialization, from exploration, texturization, formalization, ideation, prototyping, manufacturing, distribution. So what is there is that we are having an 8-week program, whereby per week we teach 1 phase, that is exploration this week, up to the 6th step, that is manufacturing. And then at the end, the 8th week, we are going to have project presentation competition, whereby we expect you learners that you, by that time you are coming up, you have already developed idea to solve a certain problem, and you present. If it is workable, then you move on and get funded using actual token. Token, many of us have interacted with crypto, or we all know Bitcoin. Bitcoin, everybody knows Bitcoin, even a 5-year-old. They are the Kijiji, but you don't know what. There are some myths around it that it's sometimes not legit, but it's the next, Web3 is the next revolution. Now, please, I'm just happy about your presentation. You touched about medical tech in research. You're very passionate about technology in research. You talked about data science, machine learning, AI, but all that, we need to start also thinking about financial engineering. I think when we combine those two, financial engineering and data science, then research is going to be something else. Yes. So without further ado, let me just invite our able CEO, Dr. Macharia Waruingi. If you are listening to me, you can step in.
Good afternoon, everyone. You can all hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Augustine Arokwe. They're in KU. Well, I'm very excited to be here, and I'm hoping that everyone can hear me very well. It's 4 a.m. in Boston, so my voice is 4 a.m.-ish, the kind of voice you get early in the morning. Well, I'm very, very thrilled to be here. We have had very good presentation. Nabisa, thank you so much for just giving us your experience. And of course, other people spoken, including Professor Maina Mwangi, Vincent. Thank you, everyone in this meeting. I don't know all of you, and I can't tell who is in the room, but we also joined by the Actuate Foundation team. And I just want to tell you, I'm a medical doctor myself, and I trained at the University of Nairobi maybe years ago. And I went through the whole process that Nabisa was explaining. So Nabisa, I'm with you right there. That first of all, when you're studying in school, you have to be thinking about what's going to happen next after you graduate and you go. And so when I was in medical school, we wrote proposals. We didn't even know, we didn't have an organization helping us like what you guys have at CUMREC. But we wrote a project when I was in second year medical school. And that project was based on the class we had just taken a week before. in community health. And we wrote a project that's called Epilepsy Education Program, based on our training in community health in second year school of medicine. And that project lasted 4 years of our medical school. And it got funded by Siba Gaige, Novartis Pharma. And by the time we graduated, I had so many people in the world asking me to go to trade with them. So I got, French government asked me to go to France and study more neuroscience and neurology, tropical neurology specifically, because of that work we did with Siba Gaige. So you don't know what is ahead. In fact, you just do what you are doing right now, and the world just opens up to you. Then after working, well, when I went to France is when I noticed what we were missing in Nairobi. And also read lots of medical journals, and that's why I saw a lot of grants, grant announcements. And I applied for very many grants. And in fact, this applying many times, I learned how you apply for grants, the language itself, on my own. And then I got an NIH grant that brought me to United States, at Harvard Medical School. That, I did not even expect that kind of thing to happen. So just what Nabisa is saying, just diligence, learning as you go. Don't close your mind to anything. And read, don't spend your time doing useless stuff like going to Kamakis and doing all the kind of, the things that students will do. Do not waste your time. Or let's say, do not spend your time, because time is like money. Don't spend on it. So I'm very excited to learn what you guys are doing. But then after going through all, particularly at Mass General Hospital in Harvard Medical School, is when I learned that there's something else we're not doing with our knowledge. So what are we not doing with our knowledge? After we do all this research, we have discovered what we have discovered. Then what next? Where does that knowledge go? Because I see in many African countries, we don't translate that knowledge into commercial products and services that will improve human life. Negative feedback. I think someone can use. So this is what got me thinking that what is the problem? That from research, once you got your research knowledge, you have done all that research, then what do you do with all that? And we don't have any infrastructure built anywhere in Africa that helps people to translate that knowledge into commercial products and services. It got me working. And to cut the long story short, we have built Actuate Foundation to help you take that knowledge that you find in research to the next level. And so we can we can now compose the entire process of the research itself, from the organizing research, what you guys are doing, finding money for your research. And then once you have generated that knowledge in research, taking it to create new products and services. You know that in healthcare, in medicine in Africa, almost, and even everything else, we import almost everything that you find in the hospital, including medical water. We import tablets, we import injections, we import syringes, we import everything, we import biomedical devices, hospital supplies. We don't even build our own hospital. We have to call Chinese people to come and build a hospital. That is what is missing. And that the innovation at that level is very tough, because you don't know how to now take this knowledge and create the product next level. And I think let me say, not just I think, I know, as Augustine has said, the reason this happens is because we do not have financial innovation. What I learned here in Boston is that without financial innovation, no innovation is possible. Financial innovation is necessary and required condition for any innovation to take place. And I say, how do we bring financial innovation into biomedical innovation? Because if we don't have financial innovation, all we shall be doing is looking for money from other people. You know, money does not come from other people. It just gets to be innovated the same way you innovate anything else. So if money is not innovated, then we cannot innovate anything else. It's like saying you want to grow crops without water. Now, you know, if you planted seeds on a garden and you don't water the seeds, those seeds will never germinate. And so financial innovation or innovating money is like water to innovation. And so, luckily enough, I don't want to take this too long because you've been here for a long time, is that luckily enough, fortunately enough, we have brand new technology. It's not so brand new, it's about 10-year-old technology, which is called the blockchain. That is a technology for financial innovation. And all we have to do, like people who have spoken before me here, is that we learn to use the technology that is existing. It's already there. We don't have to build the blockchain again. All we have to do is learn how to use the blockchain to innovate money, so that when we innovate money, we can innovate science. We can have the freedom to innovate science. We can have the freedom to innovate biomedicine. And we can have freedom to innovate anything we want. So that's what Actuate is all about. So in order for us to innovate, already the blockchain we have the blockchain token, which is called Actuate. It's on the blockchain. So that step is already done. The next thing is, how do we innovate what we have? That's why we have created this Learn to Earn program to take people in the African continent, not just Kenya, so biomedical students and even science students, through the process of innovation, which, as Augustine said, it's a 6-stage process. Translating knowledge from what you don't know and you don't know that you don't know. How do you get there? Which is known as exploration. That's stage 1 of knowledge. Through externalization of knowledge, you fish out that knowledge. Through harvesting of that knowledge, so you can sort it out and grade it. And then through formulation, through formalization of knowledge, like what we are doing right now. When you're writing research grants, that knowledge is already formalized. And then from formalization to ideation, where you now take those ideas and you sort them out into the likely idea to be successful. And then from there to building prototypes or prototyping. For example, if you think about a surgical process, you would have to create a prototype. And then when that prototype, then you present it to people who would finance it, which now, if we have financial innovation, we just have to gather the resources with the Actuate token to finance the prototype. And then from there, you are able to manufacture your product. And of course, if it's a big product, you need a factory, or maybe you need an office, particularly if it's a service. And then from there, the distributing the service or product that you've created. Those are the 6 stages that every product has to go through in order to come out. And then when you do that, you're going to find that we open up possibilities of creating lots of products and even services and even engineering, large engineering, civil engineering projects that will improve the life of people in African continent. So, well, that's why we're here, and that's what's Actuate Foundation. We're excited to have partnership with Comrec, and also in KU we have the Q Fest, Kenyatta University Females in Science and Tech, and we're gathering momentum because we are having partnerships with so many other groups, just in the spirit of translating and commercializing knowledge in service of human development, which is what we call global health, so that we can achieve global health. Well, I think I would like to invite you all to join us in this movement, because this is a global movement that is now made possible by the blockchain. Now, just one last word about the blockchain itself. Blockchain is what you call the Internet of Value. Internet of Value. Okay, so we have had three internets before the blockchain. This is the 4th internet. The first internet was the Internet of Text. Okay, that was known as the IP Internet Protocol, people could send emails or just send a text message a long time ago. That's 1980s. Then in 1990s, we got something called the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, and that allowed us to exchange websites. So you could have a document on your laptop, but that document can be seen by anybody else in the world. And that gave us, it's just a protocol called World Wide Web, and so that internet too. And then that internet was one way you could only write. That's what's known as the write internet, or the read internet. You could only read because like a brochure. That's the read internet, and that's, you see, the beginnings in the 90s. But then soon in 2000s, I think that's when most of you are getting born, 2000s, we get another internet which allowed people to write, and that heralded the emergence of companies like Facebook, like Google, LinkedIn, and that is known as the right internet, that it allows you to write. Okay, and then that is the right with the right internet protocol. But by the time that right internet came, a new protocol emerged, which is called voice. And you see, on voice internet, we were able to talk to one another. We can do WhatsApp, we can do video streaming like what you're doing now, and the world just opened up like nobody's business. I can tell you it was very hard to do what you're doing right now. Just in the 1990s, I could not speak to you until I come to Nairobi. Now I don't need to come to Nairobi to talk. So that is the talk internet. It's called the voice over the internet protocol. That has been good and growing. And that allows us to exchange knowledge in a very tremendous way. But then up to this point, we did not know how to represent value. The value of your work, like what you do every day, it has got value. And when that value is not represented, that value of your work is dead to the market. It's known as dead capital. And so the next thing that happens is the internet protocol that represents value of what you do every day. The internet of value is what is known as blockchain, invented and launched way back in 2008 as the Bitcoin protocol. Okay? So many people, I mean, in the traditional finance, don't want people to know this, and this is why it has come with a lot of myths, mythologies, and funny stories. But the blockchain is the technology for the internet of value, and we can go deep into those conversations about how to present value. But here is the kicker: the value produced in the African continent, the entire continent, remains unrepresented in the marketplace. Like if I go to the New York Stock Exchange, I cannot see the value of the work you guys are doing at Kumrek. And if I go even to London Stock Exchange, I cannot see that. Why? Because the work that is being done there in Africa is not connected to the capital markets. And when the value is not connected to the capital markets, the work that people the value that people are producing is dead to the market. That is known as dead capital. So dead capital is what is called poverty. So poverty in Africa is not poverty in real sense, is dead capital, is the value of the work that you produce every day. But that value does not make it to the global marketplace. Now, what's the great news here is that the blockchain itself is able to capture that value that you're producing on a daily basis and put it in the global marketplace in an instant. And what's beautiful, the blockchain is able to capture that value through your phone, your own phone. So you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to go to London Stock Exchange, London Stock Market. The value that you're working every day in a very simple way, which is known as a token, a crypto token, like actual token. So when you're holding the actual token, if you're holding it and then you say you receive actual token for the work you produce, that token is already in the global marketplace. And that is the power, because it means that whatever you do, it's in the marketplace, and then that token is fungible. It can be exchanged into anything. It's very liquid, and that is what is the most powerful thing about the blockchain of value. So I don't want to go into a lot of details about this because this is just the opening invitation. But what I want to tell you is this, is that unless we understand this, just like we have embraced WhatsApp, we have embraced, we can talk to each other, communicate without being excluded by telephone companies. We have embraced internet. We have embraced now this Google Meet. We can actually do video conversations. We have embraced YouTube. It is a time that we capture the fourth internet, which is now the real fourth industrial revolution for the information